Those of us who've struggled with focus can spend a lifetime being told that we're lazy, or that we don't apply ourselves, or that we'd achieve more if we just tried harder. And we can feel completely isolated when it feels like our partners, our friends, our family are looking down on us as someone who isn't trying, especially when we're trying twice as hard as everyone else. And it can get to a point where it feels like if we try so hard and people still see us as lazy, what's the point in even trying? But life doesn't have to feel like an uphill battle. I'm going to talk about how to embrace a life with a lack of focus while still achieving the things that you want to achieve. By the way, hi, I'm Chris. I help fellow ultra-normal brains focus, grow, and get stuff done. So one of life's biggest lies is that trying hard equals success. And if you struggle with focus, or you're a fellow ADHDer like me, then trying harder is just not going to help you. In fact, it's more likely to make things even worse. I want you to imagine a truck with its wheels stuck in the mud. If you keep on pressing the gas pedal, then it will stay in place and eventually it'll run out of gas. So other people looking on shouting, "Pump more gas," won't make the truck go anywhere. So you're not lazy for not wanting to pump more, you're trying to conserve the limited gas. There's no question that everyone wants the truck out of the mud, but to do that, we have to find a better way. The problem is there's a paradox when it comes to getting things done with a busy mind like ours. And that paradox is the paradox of structure. If you have a busy mind, then the best thing to help reel it in is structure. But also, if you do have a busy mind, over time, structure and routines can suck your energy and lead to even less being done. So yes, we can try harder, but as we try harder, we spend more energy into a structured routine and end up burning ourselves out. This is because it takes up more cognitive load, aka brain power, to do the things that require executive function, which is things like organization, time management, juggling multiple tasks, etc. So I want you to think about the idea of structure on a scale. So on one end of the scale, you have flexible flexibility. This is pure chaos. This takes up very little cognitive load, but nothing gets completed. There's zero structure, zero routine, but it doesn't move the car at all. It's completely unsustainable. Then you have inflexible inflexibility. This is pure structure. Everything is scheduled, recorded, tasks are hyper-controlled. This takes all of the cognitive energy. And this gets things done, but only for a short period of time. This moves the car forward a little bit, but it doesn't get it out of the mud. Again, it's completely unsustainable. And for a lot of my life, I've lived ping-ponging between the two extremes, and maybe you've experienced the same, being flexibly flexible 1 minute and inflexibly inflexible the next minute. Try saying that 5 times fast. For example, trying to keep a intricate bullet journal with rigid schedules before throwing it all in the trash and then living a life of pure chaos, just on the edge all the time. It's a cycle that a lot of us can go through. And I'd love to hear if you've been through that too. The thing is, our brains cannot live slammed to one side or the other. So how can we live a life with the structure that we need, but without running out of gas? What's the solution? Well, I'd like to introduce you to something called inflexible flexibility. So staying on the truck analogy, we still need to use the gas, but with a structure in place that can help move the car forward. So just putting the right thing in place in order to make sure that when you do press on the gas, it's effective. So how can we be inflexibly flexible? Well, let's break down some examples. There's obviously not enough time to dig into all of the specifics in one YouTube video, but if you do want more about this and other specific ADHD tools, then feel free to join my Focus Bootcamp, which is linked below, where I show you step by step the system that me and other ultra normal members use. So being inflexibly flexible is all about putting systems in place that optimize your effort, so that when you do push on the gas, it's most effective. So for example, prioritizing things in order of energy, not time. So any tasks that involve executive function is going to drain our cognitive load, our brain power. So yeah, we can cram 20 hours of hard work into one day, but if it knocks us out for 3 days straight, then it's just not going to work. So prioritize things in terms of energy it takes, not necessarily time it takes. So let's say, for example, you had 5 important but exhausting things to do between Monday and Sunday. Don't do them all in one day. Spread them throughout the week so that there's recovery time in between. The second thing that you can do is always start with the energy boosters. So if you've ever heard the term eat the frog, which means to do the hard thing first, that's a nice idea, maybe for neurotypical people, but for ultra normal brains, eating the frog first can mean starting the day off on a really bad note. So whatever your most fulfilling activity is, start with that, but make sure that you limit the time that you spend on it. there's the structure that we're introducing. So for example, using something like the Pomodoro technique or alarms to make sure that you're stopping it from overrunning. Starting with the fulfilling task first can increase our dopamine levels to help us push through the next task that may be a little bit more draining than the others. The next way you can be inflexibly flexible is to be strict with what day the task gets done, but not necessarily what time. So let's say you need to clean the house. Instead of saying that it needs to be done Sunday at 4 p.m., say that it needs to be done Sunday, and then Sunday morning, spend the time to look through your to-do list and spread out your tasks according to your energy that day. So this way you still do all the things that you need to do, but you do them in a way that gives you energy top-ups in between. Starting the day with something that's cognitively draining, like cleaning, may not be the best way to start your day. So starting with something different, something energizing, and then moving on to some of the more difficult tasks before, again, going back to topping up your dopamine, your energy levels with something that's fulfilling. Another thing that we can do is to plan ahead and think to what energy draining jobs can be pushed back or given to someone else if you need some extra time to recover. And this means that, not being so rigid with your to-do list that you need to accomplish everything on it. Mark down things that don't necessarily need to be done by you. So for example, on the cleaning could be exhausting for ADHDers. One of my clients was struggling with getting the house cleaning done because she found it so exhausting. So what was her solution? She paid the next door neighbor's college kid $50 to go through and clean the surfaces, floors, empty the cat's litter, etc. That was a win-win because the kid got a good hourly rate, plus my client got 2 hours of her time back and could do her other work more effectively as a result. Because cleaning wasn't necessarily something that she had to do herself, so she delegated it out. So some things can be delegated, some things can simply be dropped until you're ready to do them. But remember to take the time to make sure that you're improving your systems because they will be inconsistent, they will fail. But that inconsistency doesn't necessarily mean failure. It's actually an opportunity to provide growth and to develop that system even further. And I've made a whole video about the myth of inconsistency, which I'll leave you with right here. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you over there.